Who's going to drink the coffee? Who's going to support hospitality?
Well, David Seymour said it very well.
Cafes, guys. The cafes.
David Seymour said it very well in the House because, what's his name? Hipkins said to the government saying, well, you know, you're gutting the economy and all this. And Seymour stood up and said, yeah, if you're bazookaing cash around for 6 years, of course you're going to prop up things that shouldn't actually be propped up, and the economy is going to run on the sugar high.
Do you know what's funny as
and
well?
Now the reality is hitting you.
They want to balance or factor in Wellington Central local economy into our national economy budgets, things like that. What is Wellington City Council doing? Andrew Little, that's your job, brother.
They've got their fingers in all the leaks right now and all the pipes in Wellington. That's what they're doing.
And if you've been to Wellington recently, which we have, it's pretty crap. Like, there's nothing good happening in Wellington. All the businesses are already shutting down, and this is pre-cut.
Well, the infrastructure, council infrastructure is just
it's the worst.
shot.
Very cold. Very cold.
Yeah, you were very
I was very cold in Wellington.
Admittedly, we did contribute to the local economy. We had some coffees.
We did. Here we go.
Never got to thank you for that.
No, who's thanking me?
Didn't get a $200,000 pay packet for that.
That's right.
To be fair, Arian finds weather under 30 degrees cold.
This is true.
You always wear
it's
a
cold right
pullover,
now.
like, you always have a sweater on.
Always. I've always got a spare one in my car. I've got a blanket in my car.
No, but this always confused me when there's all this outrage around public servants being fired. There's two sides, because I can understand it, but are these people valuable or are they not valuable in terms of the workforce? Because if they are valuable, they'll get another job.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then some people say, "Oh, there's not enough jobs around." Okay. Let's play that out. There's not enough jobs. People are sitting in unemployment for ages. Would they not be at the top of the list if they were that good, though?
Sure. No, totally. The reality is every job always has the risk of not existing. Whether you're in the private sector, if you're running your own business, there's the risk
more
that...
common in the
You
private.
studied economics.
It's much more common in the private.
Well,
sector.
no, you're totally right. Yeah, exactly. It's much more common, actually.
And we
in the
call it
private.
efficiency.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, where the government provides that opportunity, they remove the opportunity from the private sector.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's called crowding out. Yeah.
Yeah. So open up the space. Let the
That's
public
right.
decide. Let trust of the individual or the private
That's right.
citizen who's hiring with far more risk than the government.
That's right.
Let them choose whether that person is of value of $230,000.
You know, if you look at the government spending as a ratio of GDP or the percentage of GDP, I think it's about 45%.
That's crazy.
So it means 55% of the economy, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but 55% of the economy, which is the private sector, is funding 45%.
Yeah.
That's a pretty, you're only, 6% away from basically communism, where it's 51% government, I'm being
I think though too
provocative, but still.
the government want to move to reduce or sort of streamline the number of government ministries, and so it's inevitable that you're going to have double up when it comes to administrative roles.
Yeah, of course.
Why would you keep people on if you are going to reduce the number of ministries, by half or whatever they're going to do?
Well, Seymour said the other day, it's just people checking each other's homework, which is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
There's policy advisors and...
The other thing, though, that I am hesitant of is does these cuts, which I support, do they result in the hiring of more consultants at a top end and then just offset, which is kind of, I think we actually hired way too many consultants after the last cut.
And that's the merry-go-round that is Wellington, right?
Yeah.
As one government comes in and they try and cut the fat off, the fat effectively just finds a way into consultancy roles, and then of course the next government comes back and then they go back into public service.
Because if you fire 5 plebs, you fire 5 FTEs, and then you bring in one consultant, you've just offset. It doesn't. You haven't scrubbed the budget at all.
Yeah, they bill you more.
Well, you see Calvin Davis, who was a former Labour minister, he's in now consulting on something with Erica on education at $200,000.
Jeez.
That's his pay packet.
Jeez.
Yeah. I saw maybe Eric Crampton posted about it.
He's working for Erica
Stanford. So he was a former associate for education. She's brought him in to do some work.
Oh.
But he also wanted to release, according to what I read, he had this push while he was in government to release 40% of violent criminals, and then crime spiked. And this is the guy that they're bringing in up with education.
Oh, your crime spiked. What?
Okay, we have to talk about this. This is not on our list, but this reminded me. I see Tamitha Paul's video crying about how her partner has to drop her to and from Parliament.
Yes. Holy.
She's like, my partner drops me off every day because it's so dangerous. We were in Wellington the other day, and I know this is not exactly the same, But we just saw David walking around with a
David Seymour.
Seymour with
countdown.
sunglasses on. And,
Yeah, he had his groceries. He's just like walking up and down the road in and out. Obviously, he's a man, she's a woman, so not exactly the same. I would say he's got far more violent and imminent real threats against him than she ever has. The other thing is, she wants to defund the police, abolish prisons, and release criminals. And she's scared about being unsafe in public.
It was one of those videos I've watched, and I often watch stuff from the extreme communist left, and I actually have no idea how to refute it. Like, it's so beyond me what she said in that clip. Like, I'm sure it is really tough on her.
Well, you don't know where to start. Right?
I just don't know what to say. Like, I'm like, this is
we should literally post the videos like of her being like defund the police and twerking next to the video of her crying about being unsafe. How do they compute? How do they reconcile these two things in their mind?
Well, because Tamitha Paul is probably thinking of like the white nationalist types.
Well, she said it was the manosphere that was threatening her.
Yeah.
the 3 people in the manosphere.
And look, hey, I don't want to pretend that there hasn't been a certain amount of vitriol online directed towards certain female politicians of the left. Like
it goes everywhere.
It goes
everywhere.
But I mean, from their point of view, they're thinking of it as, okay, there are angry men directing COVID kind of like bitterness at them. And,
which is probably true.
It's true.
Yeah.
In the sense that that's what they're doing.
No, that is happening, yeah.
I mean,
But
anyone who holds a public office or is a public commentator, we get hate comments.
Dude, yeah.
Shout out to Monty Screen on Facebook.
Yeah,
my God.
Yeah, he's probably listening.
Shout out to Jordan Phillips on Instagram.
Yeah.
But again, it's different. She's a woman. I understand. We're 3 guys who are very capable of looking after ourselves. But turn your screen off. Walk away. No, and if we're going to look at political violence, I don't think it's the side that's threatening you or supposedly threatening you that has carried out the most recent acts globally that we can actually track and see.
And if there are actual threats of violence, then they can be given to the police.
To the police.
The police will investigate it.
Well, she wants increased security at Parliament. Yeah. She wants increased personal security. Her partner has to drop her. Her partner's like, I was doing that to be nice. You just throw me under the bus because I only do it because you're unsafe.
Yeah, imagine how much hate Luxon gets. You go to Luxon's comment section, or you go to Simeon Brown's comment section. So it's like, what are the miniature Brown? Or
Simeon gets so much.
He gets so there's so much hate that goes around.
Luxon, you don't see the hate as much because there's a lot of Bob and Virgin comments.
How's that?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I see what you mean.
You see what I mean?
Applying for a visa.
Where do I apply, sir?
Yeah.
Isn't it? And a lot of people just ask Luxon about his wife's biceps. And things like that. So.
Yeah. Or they make jokes about his baldness.
Which, I don't
That's
mind
cruel.
it.
That's cruel.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree, guys.
Hey, if you're mocking a bald person, you've got no other ammo.
Yeah.
I'd take that any day,
Yeah. It's like people who always comment about, like, people say, like, to me, like, oh, this guy posted a Peter Griffin thing getting lifted by a crane, or like, call me a salad dodger. I'm like, couldn't care less.
Yeah, try to be creative at least.
Yeah, be funny. Say something.
I mean, I think like short of violent threats, right, where that can be reported to police, you just have to accept that this is politics. And if you want to get if you want to put your hat in the ring, then you've got to be ready to take those types of comments, and just don't look online for the most part, right?
And what's the solution? Well, counter-speech, engaging them in civil debate, but then also those are the same people calling for hate speech laws who shout down and hucker down anyone who opposes them.
Straight up.
They don't cultivate an environment for the solution to their problem to exist.
There you go. Well said.
There you go.
Clip that.
Police, mate. They want pay rises. Yeah. Apparently they got a 0.6% pay rise. Now a bunch of them are like, okay, well, we're going to do less work. We're not going to leave our phones on when we're off call so that you can't call us in. And they've spit the dummy. Now I can sympathize with them. It's a tough job. They should be remunerated fairly. I'll just be honest. Not a good job at all. So where do we sit on this?
Well, I don't know. I mean, when you say they're doing a rubbish job, what is it about the performance of the police that you're thinking of specifically?
I would say numerous reports, IPCA, Privacy Commissioner, the police themselves have found internal systems failing to protect Kiwis' rights. They've been tough on crime. Like crime stats are good, but at the expense of, I would say, fundamental principles of freedom, civil liberties. They have been more heavy-handed than they needed to be, and they've been more invasive and pervasive than they are allowed to be. And they've gone ahead of Parliament in terms of training around hate crimes, hate speech, things like that. I would say from the top to the bottom, we've seen issues of corruption, where we've got people with child pornography on in the second or top job. We've got people on the front line selling information to gang member boyfriends and other people in the public. We've seen all these fake breath tests. We're now seeing that they're going to do roadside drug tests, where they say they can just take your DNA, samples of your DNA, without a warrant. All of these things combined for me show a failing in how the police are operating. Crime down, sure, but at what cost?
That's a good breakdown.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I guess most of what you've said though does come back to leadership, doesn't it? It's sort of policy settings or lack of training initiatives from leadership, down. And I would say that they're well paid, those higher ups. And I think that we're going to have a problem with retention and recruitment if we don't address that, because ultimately it's a bit like the army, right? If you've got good generals in charge, you can take the roughest recruits and sort of shape them into a fighting force. Yeah, the police need that, and I think they've really suffered from a whole bunch of problems at the top.
I think the biggest problem with recruiting is the people who are coming into the police. I think that there's a
that's
huge...
the settings, right? That's the settings, put in place by leadership.
Yeah. And
what are they prioritizing?
Well, then this is the thing. You see all these cops now who go there because someone made this point to me recently, and I think it's become more visibly apparent. People who were bullied love to become police officers because now they get a chance to get back at whatever when they were growing up, or whoever when they grow up. A lot of people who aren't even Kiwi, like they're advertising for enrollment in these migrant communities without even using English now. And I understand having, just like with medicine and all these other industries, you want people who can speak different languages, who can represent those communities. But if they're not even New Zealand citizens and don't understand the New Zealand law, how can they then uphold it and enforce it?
Sure. I agree. There's got to be a minimum standard there in terms of your status, your legal status.
And then you have all the LGBTQ stuff where they've got rainbow officers and diversity officers and an orthodoxy that they're enforcing.
I think that there has been a move away from recruiting straight out of school, and I think that that's generally speaking a good idea. But
get some life experience.
Yeah. I do think so. I think, I reckon at least a few years life experience, maybe early 20s, then you look at recruitment. Even then, it's a lot of people at that age are still young. Their brains are literally still trying to figure out new pathways. I think beyond that, though, it isn't just salary. Salary is important. I don't dismiss that. And I do think that given the cost of living, given inflation, people are actually going backwards, not just in the police, but in a whole lot of sectors. So if we want good quality recruits, we do have to think about not necessarily entry-level pay, because I think people should prove themselves in the first 2 years. If you're there and you really put in the hard yards, then after a couple of years or so, then there's a reasonable...
There's good career progression in the police.
Progression, yeah.
And don't they have other benefits? Like I know that...
Sure, they have their pension system.
I was going to say the pension, I want to make it clear as well. Police, love you. Think you're great people. In the general sense,
but you all grew up as bullies.
Who, me?
No, the police.
I just...
No, I'm kidding.
It irks me when there's both narratives in the headlines around police doing a horrible job and now police upset because they don't get paid more.
Yeah.
That's the same with teachers, I suppose. Like our education and outcomes have been horrible, but then they want pay rises.
I mean, the thing is I've had lots of extended family members that are in the police and friends, and I think the general kind of consensus was that the job itself was just not very well supported.
It's a tough job.
You're looking out for the guy next to you, but the system itself has not been well thought through in terms of how they administer, leave, how they support people when they are under investigation, and exactly what kind of safeguards are in place, but also what kind of pastoral care they have. Because I think that's a big aspect of the police that's really lacking from what I've heard from people.
So what we need
pastoral
is
care aspect. Well, yeah,
police
hey, I'm all for that. And also not. I don't mean like the woke kind of, therapist type thing.
Yeah.
But just probably to some degree better training and better awareness when they're going into it in the first place, to understand that hey, this stuff that you're going to deal with It's not all because I know a lot of guys that went in quite young. They thought it's going to be like the movies, like the TV shows, you know, where you're riding around with your gun out the window. The reality is that
Some places it is like that.
the reality is it's a huge amount of paperwork.
Yeah.
Most of these guys had no idea that was going to be the case, so they
right.
underestimated it. And secondly, a lot of the time it's trying to get into some elderly person's home because no one's seen him for 3 weeks, and turns out that they died in front of the TV. Like
Or a
eating
lot of
dinner.
domestic violence cases. You're not actually fighting criminals. It's just
Exactly.
like-
Domestic violence is a huge part of it. And it's like people turning up there and cops feeling so frustrated because they're like, the partner, the wife, she doesn't want to say what's going on.
Yeah,
Even
but-
though
yeah,
someone's put a
yeah,
call
yeah,
in
yeah,
saying
yeah.
there's violence.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like it's a view of the world that a lot of these guys particularly just haven't seen themselves and didn't realize was going to be part of a big part of the job.
It's
Yeah.
tough out there. It's tough out
The
there.
solution's not to now infringe on all my rights, but sure.
Oh no, I agree with you on that. No, listen. I totally agree with you on that.
The social media ban has been stopped. Come
What?
on now.
No way.
In favor of complete.
Paused.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
It's been silent. It's been because, and who would have guessed, except for us,
Except for
that
us,
this
yep.
was now going to become a campaign for complete internet regulation for everybody with universal age verification at its core.
I feel like I heard someone warn about this right back last year when just so happens this organization started.
There's a pillar. There's a pillar.
I'll tell you what wasn't.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, oh, kids. Right, especially people without kids. I want to say who, but you know,
Me.
it was you. No. So what do we think?
The same thing that we thought last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, the inevitable is
September,
has
October.
struck.
If you listen to the next 5 minutes, this is going to feel like deja vu because we've been saying this.
And we're not going to say I told you so at any point.
Arian, take us
Right.
away.
Well, I'll just paint the picture, which is Catherine Wedd's members' bill, which was to ban social media for under 16s, has been paused in the House, even though it was going to go through the House and going to be debated. And the reason it's been paused is because you can't have two of the same bill in the House at the same time. So instead of that, they're pursuing a government bill, which essentially says, one, we will ban, this is what we haven't seen the papers or anything, but they're saying we're going to ban social media. There's going to be age verification. But social media ban is not the silver bullet, in their own words. We need more. We need way more. And interestingly, the Green Party came out and said, we don't believe a social media ban is the way, but we need an online internet regulator. So,
course they did.
you know, that's the Green Party's position.
So they've gone from sort of a silver bullet solution to let's nuke the whole
Yeah.
world, right? Let's
That's
nuke
right,
the whole
yeah.
ecosystem.
Online internet regulator,
Yeah.
by the sounds of it, is what we're going to have. But we'll just have to see what the papers come out and look like. The DIA tried this in 2023, I think, with the Safer Online platforms.
That's right.
And that was pushed back. But the Europeans have this. The Select Committee inquiry came back and said that we should copy the Europeans and the British and the Australians because the state of free speech is so good there. That was sarcasm. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what the papers look like, what they end up proposing. But I don't think it'll be nice.
No. So,
Unless they come up with something really incredibly creative that no one else has done before. But when they're talking about banning VPNs at the moment, I
they won't.
don't think that'll be it.
I don't know if you saw recently, one of the reform, like the co-leader, I'm pretty sure, or the 2SC of reform in the UK, posted a video on his social media channels campaigning, and TikTok censored it. They deleted his video because it violated the British Online Safety Act.
Wow. Oh my days.
And what was it about?
It was about their remigration policy, how they were going to send people back and
Oh,
have all the hubs where all the green voters were.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And it was
That's so funny.
it was just crazy because now it is literally just censoring political opinions, positions. He's campaigning. He's not saying anything that he wasn't allowed to say or isn't allowed to say. He's campaigning on remigration.
It's incredible.
But because the UK has their Online Safety Act, TikTok deleted his video, removed it.
And you know what? I don't actually want to blame TikTok for it because they're just erring on the side of safety.
Exactly.
When the government says, we'll punish you 10% of your global revenue if we find you.
Yeah, what company is actually going to...
Yeah, well, they'll just say, all right,
Stand
if you
up
want
to
to watch cat videos, you can watch cat videos. But anything above that, that might be mildly, quote unquote, harmful to someone. Nope.
And this is because I understand some people from the position of backing a ban wanted there to be more collaboration between governments and tech companies And there is some burden of responsibility that both of these parties hold. Sure, governments have to hold some responsibility, tech companies have to hold them. Obviously, we think the first responsibility exists in the home and the family unit. But this is just proving again that when governments get involved with regulating private companies, especially content companies, on what is and isn't allowed to be seen, they can control a whole narrative. They can actually decide what is the truth. And it's the same reason why no one trusts mainstream or state-owned media. They're just going to do the exact same thing to private companies through these threats of fees and fines. And
you build the apparatus, and then when things get real tough, when there is a crisis like COVID or there's a war or a conflict where you do actually, where the value of the truth suddenly becomes even higher, then you realize, oh flip, it's pretty valuable to have free speech or a free and open internet. You don't necessarily realize it before that. Right now we might think, it's just government saying what's harmful and what's not, and maybe someone shouldn't say mumbo jumbo, so we should shut down their thing. But in times of crisis, that becomes a lot more pertinent. I don't know what the word is, but the value of truth.
Yeah.
So
universal age verification is what they're pushing. It's the centerpiece of this, which is actually working.
Which is basically
anyone who wants to access the internet will have to have a verified account. No, in National's new plan, the internet generally.
Huh?
Yeah, so that's what the online
Google.
Yeah, the internet, the online regulator.
As soon as you get off your desktop and you go through the portal into the
internet.
Cooked.
Yeah, this is what they're pushing.
Cooked.
This is what they're actually arguing for. So in the UK, there's already you can't use Google unless you've verified who you are. That's what this is. So any, and they'll trace your IP. They'll trace you'll have like a digital credential that'll be verified via either your biometrics, your government ID, your real me, things like that. That know who you are. And they'll track you all across the internet. Now, I need to get clarity, but potentially VPNs can bypass this, put you somewhere else in the world. But they're also closing that door or trying to.
Yeah, that's been a proposal. Yeah.
I mean, I think that the potential for framing people or for just making that bar so high that you'd have to prove that it wasn't you using an account or it wasn't you accessing a device, right? So if you get charged with something or people are investigating you and they say, well, we know that it was you using this device and you were doing X, right? Whatever the illegal thing is. The ability for you to disprove that is extremely challenging, right?
Yeah.
And because it actually involves a level of tech capability or some sort of expert witness that can audit the system and understand that it wasn't you and prove that it wasn't you who was using that account. But if you think about this in terms of people with resources, governments with resources, companies with resources that could basically rot the system, subvert the system and be malicious in intent. That's scary to me. Yeah, the ability to manipulate that system of verification.
Yeah, it's effectively putting a control on everything that we start to do as we move to more digital currencies, and everyone's life is wrapped up with the internet now, effectively, unless you live completely off the grid. Internet banking, which is why New Zealand first has introduced a few bills that are like the brick and mortar branches and ATMs and things like that, physical currency, physical IDs.
Yeah,
but it's starting to become the control of sort of civil participation or social participation, buying and purchasing, all of these things that people have been called cranks for worrying about for probably the last 5 to 10 years are now coming to fruition. And it's happening in Europe, it's happening in the UK, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, just sort of next on the chopping block. And it was all brought about through the Trojan horse of kids online.
Crazy, eh?
It doesn't actually, at the end of the day, in my view, matter how much support it gets from those 140 people. They have to represent 5 million people.
Yeah, 120.
And if we can get enough weight on the opposite side of this, we can say no.
Yeah.
So we just need to put our head down, work hard, get it out there, and just make sure that people understand it, because it's not about safety. It's like people need to understand this is very little to do about safety.
It's about
all
control.
about control. Yeah.
Yep.
And they'll argue and try and justify that they're keeping you safe by actually controlling the information you have access to, controlling the narratives that you hear, controlling the news you see, controlling the things you can say. They're trying to manipulate what you believe. It's all subversive. It's what it is. So, anyway.
And there might be an argument to make if it actually did achieve safety, but I'm not convinced that it even does achieve that in the first place.
There's no proof.
Yeah, it's like, so it doesn't achieve safety. as far as I'm concerned. So it's like,
And people will say, well, look at China. Look at China. Mate, what? All the Chinese people trying to leave there. No one's migrating to China, and they all come in here. That's horrible. And they all get notices on their doors telling them, we're watching you, we're looking at you, we know what you've been doing. Yeah. Actually, if they did have a manosphere, Xi Jinping would be pretty alpha, though.
maybe he'd like it, you reckon?
Yeah.
He'd like a manosphere?
He's a big dude, eh? I saw him like next to Trump,
He's
and I was
tall, eh?
like,
Yeah.
Trump's
Is this
quite
when he
tall.
was standing or when he was sitting next to him? Because
No,
they
they were walking along
Oh,
together. Yeah.
he's all right.
No, he's like quite a big guy, like especially like for
He's
Chinese people
he's
on
a bit
average are
slimmer,
not,
eh? Slimmer than
not
Trump.
that big.
Yeah.
Trump's proportionate. How do you talk about him like that?
I don't know. He's a bit curvy.
How do you talk about
He's a
him?
bit curvy for a man.
How do you, mate,
He's got a bit of an arch.
we're going there soon, and you better not insult him.
No, I like him.
If they stop you, I'm leaving you.
That's fine. They want to hang out with me.
You won't see me in the Greens crying.
They're
for
gonna
you
they're gonna take me. They're gonna take me to the White House to visit.
to the ballroom.
That's right.
To the prison cell.
So did you
I'll
see?
happily go to the
Did you see that Kiwi who was detained by
the
border
IDF? Oh, by who?
by the border security in the States? So she's a Kiwi, but grew up in the States, as far as I understand.
I haven't
And then
followed
she
this.
came back to New Zealand, and then went back to the States, and they've detained her, and no one knows why she's been detained or.
It's a mother, eh? She's like a woman in her 30s. or
Yeah,
something.
she's yeah. And so the Greens have been asking
Mm.
for more information. They've been really on David's case. I saw a video saying, like, have you contacted your counterparts in the States? I don't understand the whole situation, but I think she's still detained.
I think it has to do with social media content.
The stuff she posted.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's
I don't know
the-
anything about this.
The
story.
news reports that I read about it at the time were citing that.
Yeah. And it's one of many cases that I've sort of seen online where there's this Australian guy. He tried to go over, he's a musician, to do a show, got turned away because his girlfriend posted assassination content about Trump, saying that he deserves to be assassinated. So
I mean,
crazy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Don't do that.
I believe in borders.
Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I would say the challenge is it's not so much if the girlfriend had been turned away. Even then, under the First Amendment in the US, there's potential to actually still say stuff like that and not be.
Yeah,
not
if
a
you're
US citizen,
yeah.
No, I know that, but what I mean is, so technically the arguments against that aren't necessarily like exclusionary, but to do it to someone that's related to or in a relationship with someone is an extra step removed, which I think is interesting. I mean, it's harder to justify at a legal level in the States, even if you don't like the sentiment.
But
it's an interesting.
Is there a legal, does he have a legal right to enter the country?
Oh no, I mean any person that enters the country is effectively a guest there, a visitor.
Yeah. That's always where I come back to.
Yeah, it's just more the question of can it be consistently applied as a rule, and what's the logic?
Can with AI, I think it would just scrap everybody.
Well, and that's the challenge. It doesn't become a bit arbitrary in the way it's administered. I think if anything, at a practical level, it just creates a lot of uncertainty, and it probably then acts as that chilling effect on anyone that's come to the country, going, "Oh, I better go back and like."
Do you know what's funny
check
to
my
me
socials.
though? Is by default, everyone who's being stopped from entering the country is hypercritical of Trump and the US. So why are you going to the US? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I wonder.
that's like immediately kind of illogical to me. And I saw someone complaining about this on the Elephant Room. They were like, "I can't go to America. You don't like America. You hate America. You openly say that online,
Yeah, why
and
do
you
you
don't
wanna
like
go?
Trump. Why do you want to go? Well, he's the president of the nation. Wait a few years and go after that. You know." But they're like, "I hate it. I should be allowed there." What?
Oh no,
What are you doing?
I agree that you can't claim a right to enter another country if you're not a citizen of that country. I think it's more. It's not so much who's being criticised; it's more just do you have a coherent system? Because if it's a coherent and a consistent system, then that allows people the ability to navigate the system and know yes or no. That includes citizens.
I think the system purely is just if you're critical of Trump first and the US in general second, that you flagged. So I'll have a green flag because I'm very supportive of both DJT and the American people.
Likewise.
Yeah, Freedom 250, baby. Let's go.
There we go. Yeah.
Should we watch the UFC card at the White House?
Oh, when is that happening? July.
July, yeah.
Mid World Cup. No, World Cup will be done by then.
The World
That'd
Cup.
be big.
Yeah,
World
FIFA World Cup. Man, America's got it going on
Mate.
for Freedom 250.
Dude, it's gonna be crazy.
FIFA World Cup.
We're only a month
UFC.
away, 3-4 weeks away.
Yeah, no, we'll watch it. We'll watch it. Anyway, that was sort of a side ramble. How can Labour not announce any policies or even like details of their key policy prior to the election?
They can, and they're doing that. Like as in, they're not-
Yeah,
That's their
announced
strategy.
it.
eh?
That's
Yeah.
exactly the strategy.
and it's still working for them. So
Show don't tell.
I mean, we'll tell you after the budget. Oh, we'll tell you after the election. That's
Yeah, it's
literally
crazy.
been
Yeah, we'll tell you
Pipkin's
after the election
response.
how we're gonna our cornerstone policy.
Vote for us. We promise it'll be good.
Why can't you tell us now? Well, because we don't want National to basically, get ahead of us on something or like get wind of what we're going to do and try and preempt it. So,
Whenever I want my boys to do something, like we're going to jiu-jitsu yesterday, I go, all right, boys, if you listen, you do all the warm-ups, you guys do it properly, at the end, there's going to be a prize. What's the prize?
Can't
You'll
tell
see.
you.
You'll see. Kiss in the cuddle.
oh,
And they were pissed off, mate. They were pissed off. Now imagine that for everybody.
Yeah. For 5
What?
million people.
We voted you in. What do we get? What do we get?
That-
More tax.
that
Capital
only
gains
works,
tax.
remember that strategy only works once or twice, right?
Yeah,
and then you create cynical kids.
That's right.
No, and the thing, I've got two. One of them it works on every time. I won't say which one, but
I have my guesses.
he believes it every single time. Ezra, the other one never believes me anymore.
Wow.
But nah.
That's how they're running it. And I think the reason is because, as Nick said it this morning on the way here, a lot of people aren't voting for Labour. They're voting against National and ACT and New Zealand First.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that they love Labour. It's just that there was a bit of maybe unreasoned hatred for the right. And so I think that's the wave that Hipkins is riding, is just running the same lines. And
Which is why his personal scandals or
it means nothing. It means nothing to
controversies,
them.
they haven't pulled him down in the preferred
That's right.
prime minister stake. So
And the same for the
Do you know
Greens.
what though? I think that shows the moral decay of our country, our society.
Mm.
That a scandal like cheating on your wife and all of these things that came out didn't damage his reputation.
Mm.
That people were just like, oh yeah, that's crazy to me.
Mm.
That's absolutely crazy.
20 years ago, that still would have had a big effect on
Yeah.
elections.
People don't care. People just want to be able to pay for things, I reckon.
Bro, if you cheat on your wife, uppercut for life, straight up, never forgiven.
Yeah.
Because once you're a cheater, always a cheater in my books. And I understand that people can change, but it's like, brother,
I'm not saying this is a justified way of thinking, but if he, what's the past tense of cheat? Chatted on his wife?
yeah,
If he chatted on his wife
yeah.
and he ran an incredible economy, thriving, civil liberties on lock,
Yeah.
Everything great, I think people would continue to vote for her. Do you not?
Yeah.
Do you not think?
But the difficulty is that politicians have been doing this for,
too.
centuries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we let them get away with it.
Yeah.
Castrate them. No,
I mean, no, I thought
That's a
I think it's important. Like it's obviously very important that individuals are a moral example to the next generation and to each other.
This is true.
I think at the same time, at least to some degree, there isn't that hypocrisy of, everyone needs to behave a certain way and then they don't, and it's going on behind closed doors, and people prancing around pretending that they're very moral paragons.
Mm.
The Bill Clinton era kind of basically
Monica
killed,
Lewinsky.
Well, that killed any kind of pretense really that
Yeah.
people don't behave like this in the highest.
and they were prior to Bill, but it wasn't as public. It wasn't as.
Oh, of course, it's pride. I mean, JFK and
Marilyn
He was
Monroe.
pretty handsome. though.
FDR and
I go to him.
you name it, going way back. That they had mistresses,
Barack Obama.
and, like, multiple affairs. If anything, I mean, Barack
Michael.
Obama, I think by all accounts is probably actually very, very faithful.
Nah, there was that guy that said that they were gay together.
Who?
That guy from Chicago.
Yeah, but
Michael.
No,
Oh.
another guy. I reckon when Barack Obama was a young lawyer,
Wow.
congressman, that they were gay together.
Respect.
I mean,
Who wasn't?
There are people.
Who
Yeah.
wasn't what?
Who wasn't?
Who wasn't gay
This
together?
is the difference between soccer and rugby.
Yeah.
I mean, there are all sorts of people making. all
You know
sorts
you've
of
made
claims.
it if someone comes out and accuses you of formerly being gay with them. Never in my life have I been important enough for someone to allege that we've been in a gay relationship.
Not yet. That's the goal.
Haven't been caught.
That's your goal. You got to pursue that high.
I'm not going to see Arian for like a decade, and then all of a sudden I'm going to see him, and I'll be like, I know what he's here to do.
You soccer player.
Yeah, I love football.
No, it's good.
Come on.
It's soccer.
I just think at the most core level, if you can't keep that covenant, I think I've said this, if you can't keep a covenant between you and your wife, how are you going to uphold an oath between you and a nation of 5 million, a team of 5 million?
Oh, look, the especially when there's lying involved, right? Whatever the context.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that's why, like, I love people like Abraham Lincoln, because as far as I'm aware, he was called Honest Abe because he actually would tell people things that they didn't want to hear, and he still managed somehow to succeed in politics.
Those are
until
the
he got
best
shot.
people.
Yeah.
And I mean, honest JD doesn't sound the same, does it? Honest JD.
Honest Jade. No, truthful T.
Oh,
Truthful Trump.
nah, look, I'm going to be honest.
Truth Social.
Truth Social.
Yeah.
Stuff's coming out at the moment about those Epstein files.
Oh, mate, what are they saying now?
Just that DJT was there.
What?
That he had dinner with Jeffrey as the president.
What year did Jeffrey die?
I don't know.
2018, 2019.
In his first term, apparently.
Oh,
So-
okay, but maybe he was telling him off.
It was,
Come
it was
to the White House,
before-
right?
yeah.
Tell you off.
Yeah, so Epstein died just before COVID.
That's right. Okay.
So it
Maybe
was-
these
yeah.
Epstein files, just put them all out. Arrest some people. Only
just arrest someone, man.
Jelane's in
people can-
jail. She's the only one. Prince Andrew got stripped of his title. He's still running around. There was someone tried to attack him at his house.
Oh, yikes.
I suppose
That's what you get.
you've got to be able to prove criminal behavior, right?
But this is the
Yeah,
thing. They
that's the
can't.
tough
They haven't
part.
released all the files. We've never talked about this, and we get so many comments telling us like,
The Epstein file.
"What about the Epstein files? What about the Epstein files?"
I didn't see
we
this.
are
In our,
aware of the
I didn't see
files.
this in our list of topics today, and I would have.
No. It's not. It's
Studied
I've
up
gone
on
through the 6 million files.
yeah. How are we? Yeah, and they keep
I
saying
told you
that.
AI can do it for you.
I watched through some of them, but I didn't see anything.
That's the thing. They say us too. First there was no file. No, first there was files. There's the binders. Then there was no files. Then there was some files heavily redacted. Then it was like, we're going to release a few more. Released tens of thousands.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing that, the left, quote unquote left, is, like, oh, this is the worst thing. Trump, Trump was part of the Epstein files, blah, blah, blah. If it is true, then the Biden administration would have released all of this, I think, prior to the election. Would they not have?
Unless they were also implicated.
Sure. But
I think this goes beyond political.
People are all over the political
Yeah,
spectrum have
yeah,
been
yeah.
implicated. I mean, from civil society, the corporate world.
the main point of thing in the discussion, the main discussion has always been like, oh, this is all
He's
Trump.
guilty,
This is all Trump. It's like an attack on Trump. And I'm sure
Well, no,
he
it wasn't. But it wasn't before, though. Remember?
I
So,
don't know.
Like Trump.
He said he was going to release them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then he didn't
So
release them.
there
Yeah.
were like some key Republicans, and some of them have actually left politics now, like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
others,
yeah,
right?
she wanted them out,
literally
yeah.
resigned over this issue. One of
Really?
a few issues, but this
Wow.
one in particular. So that's why I think that's why people are just a little bit over it, like
Yeah,
from
I
both
think
sides
so.
of the spectrum. They're like not over it in the sense of let's stop looking at it,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but rather like, well,
them
no one can really kind of plead that
Wow.
they didn't know something about it because
Wow.
so many people are
And
implicated.
then it's like, put out the files. What about UFOs? We could do UFOs. What other UFOs? The budget they want to save like a couple billion on public service.
Yes, they want to cut down. So the portion of the population who is part of the public service is
Yeah.
currently 1.2%.
They'll lead to
It
one.
used to be 1, and it's going up to 1.2. So
pre-COVID,
that's a 20% increase.
Well, what they, just this morning, 2019, they were at 47,000.
Now there's like 63 or something.
63. They want to get under
67.
55 over a period
Yeah.
of a few years to,
Yeah.
to match our 5.5 million.
It's about 8,000 roles,
Yeah,
8,000
being
jobs.
cut. Being cut.
Between 8 and 9.
And that's part of broader budget cuts because we're in so much debt. We're paying $10 billion annually on interest for our debt alone.
That's crazy.
Our net debt is, I think, is about 180 billion.
Oh.
That's exactly how much the government, about how much the government spends every year. So, that's a lot of money. And so we gotta do that. And we have an aging population. We've got to pay for super. The super costs $23 billion a year, which is the biggest line item on the welfare part of the bill.
That's about 5% of our budget,
5% of our GDP.
Our GDP.
But it's, I think, 16% of the budget and 25% of core crown spending.
And what percentage of the population the people on super make up? Do we know that?
No, not off the top of my head. No,
It's growing.
It's growing. It's
but,
growing. Yeah.
but it's something. And it
We're
will
going to hit
continue
that break
grow.
point, the same as Japan and China and Russia and the US. And
I mean, well, that's the question: is will we? Because we have been here before, but in the reverse. So there was this fear that we wouldn't have, that we would have
too many kids.
too many. Well, you know, as a result of the baby boom and all of that, and the issues. There's always been this worry around like overpopulation. I'm talking about globally, right?
BS.
And
sorry.
then, no, I know that.
No.
There was that worry though, especially from the 1970s for like decades,
Yeah,
and
sure.
then, even until recently, actually.
Yeah.
And then suddenly people started pointing out, hold on a second, our birth rates are so shockingly low. So now there's there's the opposite worry. The question is, what is the corrective? Because there isn't an easy solution to it other than having more kids. But it also there's this argument that's being made, which is that usually when these types of population kind of imbalances occur, you have a major disaster like a war.
I want to know whether beyond just maintaining the status quo, if there even is a pathway to improvement, or is it just going to be inevitably hard, or we can maintain the status quo, it'll be inevitably hard, and then whoever's on the backside of that hardness has a reset. Because, like we just have to adjust to our circle of living, right? It's like a budget. You can't spend more than you have, but you have to adjust the way that you live. So then we're used to X amount of production, X amount of export, import, of consumption, all these things. If it just doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. Like, why are we trying to maintain that level or increase that level all the time?
I mean, I think maybe part of the answer with an aging population and super is that people who have bought homes do have to not just downsize, but they actually should think about selling and then entering into some kind of really secure tenancy arrangement. And that not the typical tenancy arrangement that currently exists for a lot of people, but actually something for those who are in their sort of senior years.
Have you seen the reverse mortgages?
Yeah, you could do that, but that's not a great kind of situation for a lot of people, because if they don't know how long they're going to live for once they hit 65, you know, like, are we looking at 20, even 25 years, 30 years?
How about this? Hear me out. I don't think you should have to age gate it, but like, let's say you get to 70, you've been retired for 3-4 years at that point, and you're like, I want to downsize, sell my house. You then go on a cruise ship, and all the old people just cruise around the world continuously. And you
Some do that.
And no, exactly. But we make it mandatory, and you age group them all, and then every now and then, just one of those ships goes disappears.
Crazy.
Someone gets pushed off the back.
No. Because if you
Got
ban them all
Antarctica.
by age, then it's like, what
But
ships
we
going
need the
missing
ship.
this year?
We need the ship
81.
back. We need the ship because we have to keep buying ships.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that's the great point, is it?
Wow. No, see, my view is that instead of downsizing, you just sell and you don't own property at that point, so that the next generation have a chance at actually getting into the.
But what if you hand it
market.
down?
Hand
Could
it down.
you okay with that as well? Handing it down like inheritance, like a
Oh, sure, and some people do that. But the point is that you need
some capital to live off.
You need some capital to live off, and you've got to turn that fixed asset of property into cash flow, and you can't just do that from renting out. And you don't want the hassle of renting out your 30-year-old home.
This is why Winston wants to put $1,000 in everyone's KiwiSaver.
No, but that still has to come from the tax base.
This is true.
So what I'm saying is that if you sell your house, right, you turn that into cash investments of some sort.
yeah.
And then you're living off that as, a KiwiSaver fund or a similar type of investment fund like a PI fund. And that means that now there's more money that's now gone into the economy to grow the economy, because that's where that money goes, right, into investment and companies and that sort of thing. And that frees up property for the next generation to buy. I think the problem is that a lot of New Zealanders are holding on to property for too long.
Yeah, because there's the expectation that it'll just keep growing.
Yeah, but not just
there's
that,
no
but
strong
but also
exit
because
strategy.
culturally we're attached to, my home, my castle, right? It's
Fair enough.
But have you been
It's that
to
as
old
well.
people's homes lately? I don't want some of these homes.
no. I'm not saying that you move into a home. I'm
No, no,
saying,
no, no.
I'm saying that what if just
No,
people?
he-
No,
It's
like
like
the
houses
homes that are owned
that
by the
they
old
live.
people.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They suck. And I think it's
It's very hard to maintain a home
Yeah.
You know, you're like 3-bedroom brick and tile. You know, like after a while, there's like, you can't get up to the gutters.
There's some nice
know,
ones
to
in
clear them out.
Iraqi St. Heliers. There's some
Maybe
nice.
not.
Sure, but those are nice suburbs.
I know.
Ariane's going to show up as a gardener.
I just think
the will.
I just think that people that Kiwis have had an attachment to property for too long.
Yeah.
And this is a well-known.
Bro, stop
kind
trying
of
to take your
fact,
houses
but-
off us. What are you socialist do?
No, I'm saying it. No, I'm saying you voluntarily sell it. I think people just need to.
voluntarily, is it?
Of course. No, people just need to start thinking.
See, my
thinking
cruise
a
ships are
little more
mandatory.
dynamically.
My cruise ships are mandatory.
The key to my idea working is that you have a secure long-term tenancy for older people.
Yeah, for
right?
sure, for
if
sure.
If they've been homeowners, they understand what's involved. They're generally more respectful of property than someone who's never bought a home. That's a big generalization, but
The BNZ buyback.
it's not a very good idea.
Winston, is it true that he was part of the government that sold BNZ?
Yeah, he was a national, I think, at that
Is-
point.
and now
It was
he's buying it
initiated by
back?
Labor. He mentioned this. He said it was initiated by Labor in the late 80s, and then in the early 90s, National
Follow through with
on
it.
And he was in the national government before he left and made
Yeah,
New
that's so
Zealand
funny.
first.
And now he wants to buy it back
Yeah.
and combine it with Kiwi
Kiwi
Bank.
Kiwi Bank.
I think he's hedging or trying to create some security against central bank digital currencies around sort of like some of the shifts that we've seen in banking towards debanking and things like that. But that's a charitable observation.
Yeah.
Or I don't understand it.
Yeah, the
but-
argument. Oh, you go.
No, you go.
Well, the argument that I've heard, and I think is probably the most sensible one, is that if we couldn't do that with Kiwi Bank,
Mm.
what he's proposing with BNZ, then why would we want to buy BNZ and amalgamate it with Kiwi Bank? Kiwi Bank's been woke.
Yeah,
it's been
his
not the kind of competitive corrector in the market for banks that we hoped it would be. So
his argument is to do that in order, one, to capture the profits that the company is making for New Zealand, because
which get taken to Australia,
because
right?
it's owned by the Australians,
Yeah.
by the NAB,
Yeah.
and they made this is what he was saying, and it was on the media. They made 1.5 billion in profit,
Okay. Well,
which is the New Zealand banks are some of the most profitable banks in the world.
the banks are always making profit though, eh?
In New Zealand, particularly, they're making like super profits,
Yeah.
which shows that the market is not particularly competitive.
Yeah.
So one is that to bring back some of the cash that they're making
Mm.
into New Zealand and not take it out there.
But we
And-
won't get that though if we're going to make them like we're going to say to BNZ you can't gouge profits out of New Zealand, right? So
Yeah,
we
oh,
won't be making
totally.
$1.5 billion a year if we do this and we follow through as Vincent Peters is saying,
And take out
Because-
$25 billion.
because then we
of
won't
debt
be
to do it.
charging people the way that they're currently charging people, and therefore we won't make that kind of profit.
Yeah, if the ultimate aim is to reduce, increase profit,
that
increase
means
competition.
The consumer here in New Zealand therefore doesn't have to pay as much out. Sure, cool, but it's not that same return on the investment as the Australians are currently making
Yeah.
because we wouldn't allow ourselves to be charged that if we
Yeah.
own BNZ.
That's the ultimate
So
goal.
yeah, okay, we might save, but some people will save and maybe it'll drive competition down. But it's still a huge investment. It's 24 billion by
Well,
a lot of investors.
I
Is
also
Some
Is it for sale?
some
I mean,
said
It's not
7
for
billion.
sale. That's- yeah,
Well,
it's not for sale.
Yeah.
because I mean, everything's for sale at the right price. Is that what he's effectively saying?
Well, if you had a company that was making 1.5 billion in profit above, everything, all your expenses, you're getting paid, everyone's getting paid, and then above that, you're making 1.5 billion, and I came to you and said, "Can I have it?" No. Would you say no?
Well, you-
Depends.
No, yeah, you
Depends how much you're offering to pay me.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm,
Well, they're going to factor that.
How
in.
much do you want?
So whatever you end up paying for it, they will have factored in the fact, the profit that they're
Yeah.
making annually.
Anyway, so not a good idea.
I don't think it's a good idea, and I also think that
I don't think so.
if you're gonna,
No.
if your goal is to make a more competitive banking market,
Then do it
having
with-
less banks is not the way to do it.
Or do it with Kiwi Bank. We already own Kiwi Bank. Make it more competitive, fairer on Kiwi consumers. Then, if that's what your aim is.
But Kiwi Bank is woke. That's the thing.
Well, it doesn't need to be. The
That's
point
right,
is,
okay.
if you actually have that say over an entity like a bank, like we
Hmm.
do with Kiwi Bank, then make that work. Prove that the concept actually can be
Yeah.
executed the way you're promising. Right before you go and buy a second bank.
Hey, he might have a trick up his sleeve though. You never know. So we'll
I
find
Well,
never,
we
bid,
go-
never bid against Winston.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
fine.
exactly.
I can listen. There are things that I like about what he's been promising, what he's been pledging, what they've tried to achieve. But I don't think this is a wise policy. And I'll tell you right now, there are people in New Zealand First who've been long-time supporters that I can see already are questioning this move.
Do you think it's just one of those ones though that he chucks out there, bit of a
Yeah,
kid
test
amongst
the waters,
pinches?
yeah.
And he's just getting the vibe. He knows what works to get the attention. He knows what works to get the headlines. It stopped people talking about the fact that they've effectively brought in their own treaty principles bill and then made all those amendments to the other
I
regulations.
think he could have done it with another announcement.
Yeah, he could have.
I don't think it was a smart one to make on the back of the KiwiSaver from birth.
But it's risk and
proposal.
reward, right? Because he's like, I'll risk this, but then everyone might love what I've done back here while they're all talking about that.
I think it's just a hard argument to make. You have to borrow that amount of money, billions of dollars.
But he's
to buy the
never
bank.
planning on doing it. That's the kind of the theory. It's just like a show you this so you don't see me do this, and then this actually went really well. Everyone pay attention to this.
Yeah,
never bet against him. Okay, he knows.
No, I'm not saying it's going to sink his election.
No, unfortunately not. No.
plan.
Yeah.
Whoa, hey.
Oh,
What do you mean, unfortunately?
showing your cards
You
here.
show
mate.
some respect.
Show some respect to Mr. Peters.
You show some respect to Mr. Peters
What
right now.
I don't think, I mean, in one sense, Luxon's like ridicule of the idea when he was it with Hosking, I think, on ZB.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
He kind of was like snorting and laughing at the idea and like, this is crazy. You're never going to do that. Okay, you might be right, but I think that type of thing actually just infuriates New Zealand First voters,
Yeah.
supporters, or people that are like a little bit unsure about who they're going to go with nationally, New Zealand First. So I don't think that was a good move on the part of Luxon. Yeah. He should have just gone, nah, there's no way we can do that. We'd be borrowing, which is what he said in principle, but this is the way he said it, man. Not a good way to approach it, because he won't actually bring some of those people that have defected from national back if he does that.
Can we get a quick update before we close out on the fuel crisis?
It's still in crisis.
Yeah. How many days? How many days we got left?
Oh, I think we're fine. We've
Are we gonna be okay?
we've got fuel.
We
But,
secured those other.
At the moment, we do. I think the problem is that globally, what they've been working on is the question is the fuel reserves that most countries had.
Yeah.
So including China, and China had a very large fuel reserve. The problem is that they're running theirs down pretty quickly as well. So a lot of countries
Texas.
A lot of countries had predicted that their fuel reserves would last longer because they had thought that restrictions and policies that would come into effect would mean that there was more efficient management of that remaining fuel. That hasn't happened in a lot of cases. And so a lot of national fuel reserves have run down very quickly. So now they're looking at, this is the IEA, so the International Energy Agency. They're looking at, in the next 3 weeks, if there's no resolution to the strait opening up and so on, that's going to have a profound impact on supplies. So not just the price of fuel, but actually supplies in most countries, particularly in Asia, the Asia Pacific. And there is the potential right now that the US is actually, because of the price at the pump, that there's going to be pressure for them to actually restrict exports of fuel.
Really? Even though they got all the Venezuela stuff locked in.
The trouble is the Venezuela stuff hasn't come online fast enough. And
Do they have the infrastructure there to get it out and refine it? Or
That's part of the challenge, and they've got to be able to refine it as well.
Yeah.
So,
So that would mean taking it up to the States, then sending it out again. So there's a middleman, or could they refine it in
and
Venezuela?
it's also on the wrong side of the
Yeah.
continent. So it's not necessarily an economical way of getting fuel to this part of the world, because they'd have to go all the way. A lot of these tankers have to go all the way down around the bottom of South America.
Well, there we go.
Proof will be in the pudding.
I feel like prices of fuel here has been fluctuating a little bit, and
Yeah.
I probably was expecting to feel it a lot more like probably a week or two ago, or probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, to be honest.
Yep.
So I'm still in that limbo of.
And that's why I would say, like, my kind of sense of it from early on, from what I was reading from different, like, kind of fuel industry people, was that it wasn't going to be so much the price in the long run that was the issue. That was going to have some effect on domestic markets and stuff, and on the price of goods and cost of living. The real issue to watch for was going to be where the supplies ran out.
Yeah.
And or we get to a point where there's severe rationing in place, because we have been there before in the past. And it's just for a lot of people, they don't remember it. It wasn't in living memory, but actually the 1970s is not that long ago. So
That is quite a long time ago. But
no, what I mean is, like,
in the grand scheme of
in the grand scheme of things,
just because you were born then, okay?
Shut up. Shut up. No, I'm saying that there are a lot of people who do remember it.
Yeah.
but it's long enough ago that it kind of like, that was a thing of the past. And I think the trouble is that we've now reached the point where it's a very real possibility.
Did you see? This is sort of a side note. There's been a lot of stories about electrifying New Zealand. They had Electrify Queenstown on the weekend. They're talking about. I saw one expert was talking about how New Zealand could become the first fully electric nation, which I just don't understand. Because even clean energy requires coal, fuel, all these things.
As a backup for dry winters.
And then Hipkins got asked by Ryan Bridge about clean energy initiatives that his government or his ministers blocked. Did you see this?
Yeah.
So right before he goes on here, apparently the Prime Minister's office sends Ryan Bridge this list of all the clean initiatives that Labour MPs have blocked.
Oh.
And he reads them out. And it was like, these are all lies. There's none of this happened. These are all lies. And he gets so upset. And Ryan's like, well, they're not. Like, I'm reading them here. He's like, no, this is all a play by the Prime Minister's office to try and discredit us. Da, da, da. So funny. So he's having a tough time.
Well, I think the cool thing is that we are seeing more geothermal projects coming ahead with private investment.
That's what I saw some headlines. Yeah.
And I think that that's going to make quite a significant difference because that runs obviously it's not seasonal dependent, right?
Just, all the time, man.
So
It's hot down there.
and then the other thing is, but the other side of the coin is my concern. It's not my concern, but what I've been reading a lot of is that to really see our economy transformed in an electric kind of vehicle sense, we have to see how trucks and large vehicles are going to operate, and the cost of electric trucks, even as they're improving on range and that type of thing, is still so prohibitive. It's so high, and that most people can't replace their existing stock because a lot of trucking companies run on a pretty tight margin.
Yeah,
they just don't have that kind of money to throw around. And as their fleets are aging and they've maybe got 5-6 years left, they're looking at, okay, what do you replace it with? If they make the decision that no, we just can't afford the outlay for these electric trucks that are like 2 to 3 times at least what we're currently paying for new diesel trucks, then they will go and renew their fleet with diesel vehicles. And that means another 15 years before they can really kind of move to electric.
Well, we've got the Hyundai lot behind us here. They've got hydrogen trucks as well, I think.
They haven't
Hydrogen.
got hydrogen on the market yet.
There's a big sign out there about the hydrogen stuff.
I'm not aware that we're
would you
running
fill up?
any hydrogen vehicles in the country, and I
I
don't
think
know.
there's hydrogen buses.
Well, as in like.
But where do
are
you
you
fill up your
talking about-
hydrogen?
I don't know how it works.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm thinking of fusion. No, yeah. Sorry, hydrogen.
Yeah. They've got a sign out there.
Yeah.
You call me
I
a
don't
liar?
know. No. I was thinking of
Are you
fusion.
calling me an
I was
idiot?
thinking of fusion.
I'm having lots of confusion.
I just don't know. I don't know about the economics of it.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
hydrogen,
fair
that's
I wondered, because there must be a few options on the market now. Because I know everyone made a big deal about Tesla's semi, but they'll have those in China and all sorts. I wonder when they become driverless as well.
that's a good question. In Australia, they're ahead of us in terms of electric trucks, but not very far ahead.
Yeah,
And
but how
they're
could they
talking
do
about-
it in Australia with the range that some of those trucks have to go?
Well, at
It's
the
so
moment,
hard.
they've got trucks where they're saying 700k range and a 35-minute recharge.
Oh,
Yeah, a 35-minute recharge is not a full recharge, but it's
80% or something.
Yeah, but the point is that truck driver has to have
have a break anyway.
have brakes anyway. So
But
if
then
they-
they
they
have
don't have the
powering
cha-
stations.
they don't have the
Yeah,
powering
charging.
stations, and that's the problem.
But I suppose you could set up a bunch of solar panels in the middle of the outback with with capacity.
It's
to
much
charge.
easier in New Zealand. I mean, we don't have those desert trains like they have in Australia, where they're driving semis across the whole country. We can, most of our ports are within 400 k's of any major cities max.
Well, there you have it. There you have it.
Trying to find hydrogen pumps to go.
Hydrogen pumps.
Yeah, how do you fill up your hydrogen car?
I don't know.
I don't know. I
It's,
feel
it's
like
more dangerous. It's quite dangerous as a
Like it's
as a
explosive.
gas. Yeah. But
well,
I
they've got
guess they have
LG,
systems in place.
LPG,
GPT.
yeah, they've got LPGT's ports. I used to have LGB. What's it called?
LPG.
LPG.
LNG.
No, like the gas. I used to have a
Like
gas
on the boot,
tank,
you had the tank in the boot. Yeah,
Oh,
that would have been from the 70s.
Probably.
Wasn't that long ago?
yeah, it wasn't.
Well, the car wasn't from the 70s.
Yeah, no, but I mean that technology they didn't.
Oh, here we go. I wasn't driving around on one of those penny farthing bikes. Anyway, any final thoughts, Mr. Hahn?
that's you. Oh,
He knows.
I don't
He
know.
knows who
I
he
feel
is.
like we're so far out from the election,
6 months.
and yet it all feels extremely relevant right now. What's going on to the election, and that's scary because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of tough decisions that have to be made between now and November.
Yeah.
Just for the country to navigate the current fuel crisis and other challenges that we're rapidly kind of like approaching. And I worry that the election, electioneering is going to get in the way of that. I don't mean that they'll be distracted, but more that they're going to be gearing too many policies around how that's going to play at the polls. I want them to be able to make tough decisions that may not always be that popular. And I worry that that's going to factor too much in. And that I don't know whether the coalition holds or not. There's always that risk, right? My concern is more that the parties are like going to be pandering to what's polling well and not make the tough decisions that they've got to make. So I don't have a specific kind of policy I'm thinking of, but that's the temptation at a time like this. Yeah.
Touche.
Not sure that's how you use touche, but anyway. Yeah.
I'm learning French. I'm learning.
At least you know it's French. Yeah.
No, is it actually French?
Yeah.
I just said that.
Yeah.
That was my out.
From fencing.
Is it?
Yeah. The sword fighting, not building offences.
Ah, right.
Just so you know. My final thoughts. Nothing really.
Profound.
Yeah.
Deep.
Just maxing.
Maxing, eh? Oh, good
maxing,
on
yeah.
you.
Over to you.
I've been Drake maxing.
No, it's okay. End of the podcast. End of the podcast.
Stay tuned.
No, my final words is a big thank you to Drake for his 3 albums. If you haven't listened to it, go ahead and listen. I messaged him yesterday and thanked him. So if you haven't listened, do listen. But otherwise, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Stay in touch. Stay in tune. We'll see you soon.
Let's go.
Here we go.